to see my son go through what he went through. But I know in my heart, in his heart, he's resting in peace.
Yes.
And I just thank God that he enabled me to see his last breath and for him to look in his mom's eyes. And I know he was trying to tell me everything was going to be all right, Mom, don't worry. Because I know now he is with God. And I just thank all of his wonderful friends that have been with him all these years. When we was in Maryland, we never had to worry about him because we knew you all was taking care of him. So thank you all for coming and being my son, Fred.
Yeah, I think for me, this is probably many all of y'all. We go back a long ways, and Andre was a great brother, friend. We did a lot of good things together. All from the time we were born, my parents were really good parents. I tried to raise them all three of us. And so we had an opportunity to expose them to a lot of good things and meet a lot of good people. And I think many of you are here today. And so this is really tough, as my mother mentioned. Over the last 7 months, we rotated every week, one person to the next, to show the support and love that the foundation that was built between my mother and father. And so it was hard last week, Wednesday, when we saw his eyes shut, but I had an opportunity to talk to him prior and afterwards. I stayed, family, we all stayed 2 hours afterwards so we can have that opportunity just to let him know that, we know where he's at. But what I really want to share today, and again, as my mother mentioned, Pastor Hart, thanks, preached, Andre was a good person, he really was. And I think many of that can be attested to all the folks that on Facebook that seen all the prayers and comments, etc. on all that. But what I really wanted to say was, which I'm still trying to find, because Andre was close to the Lord, and many of you are close to the Lord. And so when you experience what I experienced last week, and I want to bring this up because it really caught me off guard. When he passed away last Wednesday at 2:40, I got on a plane to go back to Maryland, and I can show you the pictures, anyone who wants to see them. I saw an image out the window, and it wasn't a rainbow, because obviously we know rainbows kind of, they started in a certain time frame, a certain period of a city or area, wherever you're located. But the image stayed right there the whole time. And so I kind of didn't pay much attention to it the first time. But as we went constantly, flying down, going through South Carolina, North Carolina, and then flying to DC, the image stayed with us the entire time. Every time I looked out the window, and I had the pictures in my car on my phone, you could see the image. And I asked the lady sitting next to me while I was flying that I thought I was seeing something. And she says, "You're not." She says, "That's your brother communicating to you that he's okay." And I did talk briefly with Andre when I looked out the window when I first took off, and he did say that. He said, "Look, I'm fine." So in closure, when I got ready to land in Maryland, that same image kind of spread out into the cloud like a hand, and it kind of guided the plane all the way to the runway. And that experience I'll never forget. And so again, I knew that had to be Andre, because there's no way that image would follow you. And I looked, would that be a glare off the plane? Would that be this? And would it be that? And it wasn't any of that. And I've shared that picture to a few family members, and the first thing they said, I see the image you're talking about. You can clearly see it. It's right in the middle of the picture right there. So I just wanted to share that with folks because, especially if you're spiritual, you can pick it up right away and just know that at least the communication came from me from the lady. She says that's an image you'll most likely see throughout your period of life. You're going to always see him come back in different ways and kind of share, sharing his thoughts with you and whatnot. So I just thought I'd share it with folks. And, again, thanks everyone for coming out. We appreciate it. Family appreciates it. I'm glad to see a lot of the old friends and family members. I got many people here, but that I haven't seen in over 20-something years. So thank you.
Amen.
Yeah, I'm Andre's little brother, bigger than him, just he's the same size. So, but it was tough. I think the hardest point about it is, when you're gone all the time, you don't understand how much it means to family and coming back together and being able to spend time with people until something happens. And then when it happens, you start realizing that it's really important. That money doesn't mean all that. We can adjust our schedule and we can do what we need to do to make sure that we're able to satisfy the needs of others. And my brother, the type of person he was, he got saved a long time ago, and I can remember when he got saved because I came home and I was telling a couple people about that earlier. And I just looked at him and I was like, man, what's the matter? I was like, what's wrong with you? Like, and he just had this spirit of God on him. And, I got married pretty young, I had kids young. So when I came home, I was like, man, what is that? Like, what's going on with you? And he had said that he accepted the Lord. And I was like, man, I saw the difference in my brother. My brother's actions were totally different. And I told God I wanted that. I said I wanted to know what that meant because what you had was something special. And it was something that I needed at the time to make sure I was able to get through the things I needed to with my family. During that time, I think I was about 18, 19. He was young. I remember Dean, I was telling Dean, they were all together. They were young kids, and they were praising the Lord and stuff. And I could just remember my brother being saved. And I could remember how he represented God through all this time. And I could remember the things that he did. And he stepped out and he was, he was always about doing his own thing. And him and my dad arguing and stuff about it. Man, she want to do that. Andre always had a plan. I mean, he was a businessman at heart, and he always wanted to own his own thing, never wanted to work for anybody. And he did that. And he did a great job at that when he was young. And that kind of motivated me. I mean, with my brothers, I had two older brothers that Andre would take care of me, my other brother would beat up on me. Because he had to take me everywhere. And I was bad. I was real bad. It took a lot. And they stuck up for me because if I got in trouble, then my dad was going to whoop up on them. So I had the best of both of them. And I could just remember my brother changing his life and sharing that with me and me understanding, what that meant. And I also seen with that there's also a lot that comes with that because the enemy's gonna come at you. And I seen a lot in the last couple of days when I was with my brother. I was praying to the Lord. I said, Lord, you said that you'll restore the years the locust gave back. You took a lot from my brother. I said, you took a lot from me. And I wasn't being selfish. Because I was like, God, you took a lot from my brother. How are you going to restore this? How are you going to restore it? And God had a plan. And his plan wasn't the plan that a lot of us hoped for, but it was God's plan. And the last thing I'm going to say is, over the last couple of months, God was saying about family, getting together, getting family in order. For myself, I didn't know what that meant. But what my family has went through and what we have been through, not to get into too much detail, God was teaching me to get my family in order. And he was having me come out here for 7 months now. I had every excuse in the world why I couldn't come out here, why I couldn't come home all the time. But now I was able to come home every week, right? didn't know how I was gonna get it, but boom, the money was there. I was able to come see my brother every week. And he was saying, get your house in order. And I was like, well, Lord, what does that mean? And I sat there and I called his kids and I said, y'all need to come see your dad. Like, you need to come see your dad. So, to make a long story short, my brother was able to get his house in order before he went to the Lord. And he was able to minister to his children and to minister to all of us on who he was, right? And whose side he fought on. Because you can only be on one side. You're only on one side or you're on the other side. That's just the way it is. There's no middle when it comes to the Lord. And the Lord doesn't come and he doesn't make anybody do it. And he don't care about what you do and how you do it. He doesn't care. He wants you to be who you are. And my brother portrayed that. And that was the one thing that I was grateful to see his kids see. And I talked to his kids about it. And I was able to see my brother go through the pain. And I hope that, that's not something that, God's gonna cause me ready, but I hope that's not something that he continues to call, because it's a hard thing. This is the first time, I've lost people, a lot of close people, but this is the first time I've ever lost my brother, and anyone really close to me like that, and it's tough. It's a tough thing, and I just want to say thank you to everybody for coming, and we appreciate all that you guys have done for Andre over the years. You guys have been there for him, taking care of him through thick and thin. Because he was not leaving Jacksonville. He was going to stay here until he went to the Lord. And we thank everybody for helping him out with that.
Amen.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
I'm Mark. This one out with first cousins, and we've been growing up with Andre. So I like that, fighting and scheming and everything, playing in the woods and all. But the thing that for me with Andre, he's a gentleman, a gentle soul. Anybody know him, he's gentle. He brings calm to you. And during this time, the last maybe 2-3 years, he coming over the house, eating and
That's my part. I gotta feed him. Once I told him I cook on Sundays, he ain't missed one.
It was a pleasure, having him over there. Oftentimes, especially if he came off of dialysis or something like that, he tired, and we know that. So hey, he come Andre, this is his chair. He sit there and rest. We leave him alone. Then when he's ready, we'll sit out there in the front. Won't stay long, but Andre, just like I said, for my cousin, he's a gentle person, and that just, his presence around me, it just soothes my soul, and he's gonna be missed. We love our cousin. He's really a brother. Coming up, he's really a brother. Thank you.
How everybody doing? Well, I got to say I know Andre, he has a lot of friends. And he has friends everywhere. And so many friends that y'all probably would never even know because he communicated with so many people. And Andre and I go way back in the early days because we used to pop.
Doing testimonies.
There's only one thing wrong with that statement. You said we used to pop. And I'm still popping.
we stayed in contact. We been partners for a long time. Joe, Ricky Red, all of us was good buddies. So we was hanging out, and that was my thing, locking and popping. I went on the road. I told him, I said, I've been on the road with rapper T-Pain for ever since 2008. And all the music, Andre still kept in contact with me. We talked. But the important thing was, Andre and I will always eat. Eat. So everywhere we went, I would take Andre. I don't care where it was. Andre is gonna eat. We went there from Salt Life to St. Augustine. I got all the pictures and we teased. They told Andre, you gotta lose some weight. He gonna still eat. I can't get to it. Andre still eat. I said that was his little thing because he loved to eat. I love to eat. And I told Andre, I said, man, you're gonna be all right. I said, I beat cancer a long time ago, you can get it, right. Just keep praying. So we went on, we did our own thing, kept going to all from Confetti's, Bananas, other Playground South, Hollywood, you name it, we was there. Rocking and popping. so time changed, you go on, so you know. I had settled down. So just like he said, I settled down and said, oh Lord, So Andre, I didn't see him that much because I got married and I was like going to church all the time. Oh, lo and behold, I go to New Covenant. There's Andre. He had his kids and I had my 2 kids. We went right after church, Golden Corral. Turned it out, we ate Golden Corral. And not too long ago, I know, because we didn't talk every week or every 2 weeks. It was probably like once a month. Smokey Joe, I know y'all follow him. No Smokey Joe. Smokey Joe, tall, dark skin. They love to dance. They love to dance too. So we had our little thing. And I told Andre, I said, man, come out to Whitey's. It's Whitey's Fish Camp in Orange Park in 220. Andre hopped in the car, came out. We had a big table full of food, and we just enjoyed. As soon as we finished, they go, Andre, let's cut it. Let's get it. But he had that way about himself always. And just like he said, after that, he would go and eat. But he always had that good heart, never nothing down. And he always called say, after he'll go eat, but that was my little buddy. So,
Oh, you sure? I didn't know which way I was supposed to go. All right.
Hello, everybody. My name is Destiny. I'm my dad's only daughter. So, usually when people ask about my dad, I always tell this story just to show like how big his heart was. And I remember being young to always go to the pool. And so this one time, my dad was there. He took us to the pool. And, you know, I'm at the pool, you know, swimming and everything, having fun. And there was a baby. There was a baby in the pool, you know, he had floaties on and everything. His mom was talking. So his mom was talking, and so the baby started drowning. My dad, full clothes, shoes and everything, ran to the pool, jumped in, everything on, and got the baby out of the pool. So, you know, I was just looking like amazed because, you know, all I seen was my dad running to the pool. I'm like, what are you doing? You know, so, you know, it just, that story, like that moment always stuck with me to show, like, show like how like big my dad's heart was, like, and you know his faith in God was very, very strong, and he would always call me. You know, you need to make sure you have that relationship with God. You know, and it every single time he would get on the phone with me you know, and I'll be like, Dad, yes, I know, you know, I know. But it's so like important, you know, and that's really what he wants for all of us, you know, that's in this room right now. Everybody that he knew, that was his number one mission for everyone. So I just wanted to share that with you.
I want to share something too. Andrew and Ori and I met back in 1969. We raised Andre, Anthony, and little Ori. And my kids, my two daughters. I'm telling you, I have never seen a family so close. You boys have been, men have been so close to your parents. I can't even imagine. You know, I've never seen anybody this close with you coming every week. And I was talking to Angela and Ori every week, almost, finding out what's going on. I've gone out to mail. But I'm telling you, I am so proud of you. I really am. I know, but I'm telling you, Angie and I and my ex-husband and Ori, we were like sisters and brothers. Still is. And I'm telling you, this is a great family. And Andre is gone, but I want y'all to please just take care of your mom and dad. Okay. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Mike. I met Andre in Rhode Island in 1979. I was explaining to Audie that in my 59 years, I never had more friends than this family right here, including one that's already went ahead of us. I have 4 siblings myself. I don't know them more than I know these guys. So it hurts me to see him laying here right now, but I know he's home with our father. We go back through many school trips, sports, arguments. I couldn't even get mad at him because he makes jokes. So he always knew, like you said, how to soothe things down. So it really hurts my heart to know that he's gone, but I know his spirit lives in each and every one of us. We all know him. We all love him, and we all miss him. Thank you.
Good evening. I met Andre at around 80, 1981, something like that, on the beach. I went out there, and me and another friend of mine, and Andre was breakdancing. And he was getting down. And I was impressed because Andre weighed about 195 pounds. He was pretty muscular. And so for a big man, breakdancing like that, I said, wow. So I remembered him. And the next time I saw Andre, I saw him at Mayport at the Alley. And I said, oh, that's the guy that was breakdancing. Now, I didn't know him personally. And then the third time that I met Andre, I met him through Tony. Tony and I were employed at UPS. And so one day, Tony invited me over to his apartment, and there Andre is. I said, man, I remember you. You the guy who breakdancing on the beach. And we got to talking and laughing. And so Andre, he got born again. He got saved. And I wasn't saved at the time. And after he got saved, he witnessed to me. And I was still partying and living my life out there doing what I was wanting to do. And behold, one day I met the Lord personally too. And so after that, we started going to the same church, New Covenant Ministry. And then Andre used to tell me all the time, Hart, I went witnessing this weekend and we got these many people saved. We went witnesses and I cast out a devil and went witnessing and we this. I said, man, you doing all that for the Lord? He said, yeah. I said, wow. I said, okay. And then we used to talk about the Lord all the time. I tell you, Andre and I talked about just about everything. We basically talked about the Lord all of the time. We debated about politics. Politics. And guess what? We had strong debates. Some turned to arguments. Some of you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Now, these arguments, after we got through arguing, guess what? We were still friends. And you know that you're a friend with a person that you can talk about politics and still be friends.
Yes.
Okay? We were still friends. So after that, we went on, and I want to say this. Andre talked about family in almost every conversation that we had. His family was number one to him. He loved his family with all of his heart. We talked about just about everything. The good times, the bad times. I talked to him about my problems. He talked to me about his problems. Personal things, secret things that we wouldn't share with other people. And we stayed friends all that time. When Andre left, I felt like he was with the Lord immediately. I'm very comfortable with that in my heart, that he's with the Lord. You know, some people, when they transition, you ask yourself, are they really with the Lord? But some people, you know in your heart that they're with the Lord. Why? Because you've been friends with them their whole life. And their whole life is a witness and a testimony to you. That's why. That's why. Andre never backed down from his witness for Christ. Never. He would never back down for his witness for Christ. Boldness. Boldness for Christ. He didn't care who you was. He'll argue with you about the Lord because he believed truly in his heart that God is alive. As a matter of fact, to him, God was alive. God is alive, and to him, God will always be alive. And I know that he's with the Lord right now. Hallelujah! Woo.
Thank you, Lord.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you.
Oh, well, let me keep it together. So, I want to say that I'm going to miss my friend. But I know that my friend is in heaven praying for each one of us right now.
Amen. Come on.
Hi, my name is Sandy Washington Chen, and Andre and I were childhood friends. My dad was in the Navy, and his father was in the Navy, and we grew up together. I didn't really get to know Andre like my brothers did, because they worked in the Navy base at the galley. And I became really good friends with Andre probably when I was a teenager. And my sister Valerie, that left this earth and went home to be with the Lord 2 years ago on Christmas Day. Her and Andre were the best of friends. And Andre is part of our family. And every time we have a barbecue, whatever, we get together, watch the games, Andre was there. He will always be, even though he's a Hudnell, he will always be a Washington in our heart. And I just miss him terribly. But I know that he has gone home to be with the Lord. If anything, I know that for a fact.
Yes.
And he loved his family. Every time, I live in Tallahassee, but every time I'm home visiting and he would be with us, He would talk about his children, and he would talk about his parents, and the love, the bond that you guys had was so special. And I just love how his heart was. He was so giving. Even when he didn't have, he would want to contribute. And we would be like, no, Andre, we're doing this because we love you. You don't have to do that. You are a gift to us. And I just want you guys to know that he was cherished in our hearts and will always be. And one of the biggest things I love about Andre, we were the biggest Jacksonville Jaguars fan. And I am gonna miss my back because sometimes we would trade stuff, and I'm like, here, Andre, you have this as Jacksonville, and I'm truly gonna miss that. But every time I watch the Jags play, I'm gonna be thinking of my good brother and friend, Andre. Thank you so much.
Well, I'm still here for my sister's support because she wasn't sure if she was gonna make it. Through it. I'm Gregory Washington, Sandy's brother. Andre's my best friend. Andre and I were the best of friends. So I'm going to sort of put it in a different way. We've been away from many of my friends here for 30, 35, 40 years. So, but one of the things I do, I read a lot in my own spare time. I don't get very much spare time, but I spend a lot of time in my head. There are, hundreds of poems about the trilogy. And I'm going to sort of put this in a sort of triangle manner that I'd like to share with you all. And if you want to read some of my favorite poets, is Lindsay, Rochelle, Joanne, Wolfgang, and maybe Von Groesch. They write beautiful essays on the trilogy. But my trilogy, or Andre's trilogy more importantly, I like to place in three of friendship, family, and God. All right? And under friendship, I'll share these sort of stories that I've had with Andre through the years of growing up with him. But from an adult perspective, friends are come and go. You really have maybe, I think, only at best 3 really good friends in your life. If you have more than 3, you've been blessed by God, kissed by an angel, and walking among the giants. But I assure you, if you really think about it, you won't have more than 3 friends in your life. True friends that will give their blood for you, give their life for you, or just stand up for you. And the first example is that Andre and I were in high school, and we went to the Jacksonville County Fair. And we were there, and when I grew up in Jacksonville, was growing up in Jacksonville is not the same place it is now that it was then. Very racially divided city, and in many ways still is, and it's just undercover. But people would often verbally express their discontent or dislike for your race. Often. And Andre and I were at the fair one time, and I'll never forget this. Andre went to go get something to eat. Of course, he loves to eat food. And I was there with my girlfriend, and these about 10 white boys came up and was on me for the girl that I was there. I went to a mixed high school, so I had all different kinds of girlfriends. This particular girlfriend was white, and they came up and they were starting to challenge me. And I want the kind of people that, if challenged, I will defend myself throughout no matter what the odds are. And out of nowhere, it seemed nowhere, Andre comes and puts his back to me and faces the other people that are surrounding me. I'll keep it there because it never got further than that, because for some reason, our friend Ricky Nickerson, who was way bigger than, I would only weigh 100 at that time, about 110 pounds. I wrestled, and Andre was about maybe 180, something like that. Ricky's 6'4", and next thing I know, I have this conglomerate of brothers that were there. So, that's the first testament to friendship. The second one, when I was in college, I was finishing my PhD in architecture, and Andre and I were with a friend of mine, Ricky Nickerson. He had just got a brand new car, I just got home from school, and Rick came to my house and picked Andre and I up. We were going to the landing. We drove down the Beach Boulevard to come across the Hart Bridge, and we came across the Hart Bridge, and as soon as we landed on the other side, the Jacksonville police officer pulled over. I had no idea why. And so one of the officers said, I want all of you out of the car right now. I want to see all your IDs, such and such and such. And I told Ricky was driving, and Andre was in the back seat to my left, and I was in the passenger seat. And I said, no, sir. You have to tell us why we get pulled over. He said, I don't owe you anything. I said, we're not going to show you any ID until you tell us the reason we pulled us over. So at that time, the guy reached through the windshield, my camera on the other side, reached through the passenger door and pulled me out the window. So Ricky was still in the car. Andre was in the back seat. And so the guy pulled me over, threw me up against the hood of the car, and began his bill. Andre got out of the car and said to him, you know you're wrong for doing this. I'm not going to let you do it. You are wrong, wrong, wrong. The other white officer was standing about 10 feet from the car, just like this. Well, in the end, we went to jail that night. We went to jail that night, and Ricky called my father, and I probably was out after about maybe 2 hours. Well, Andre was still in there. For some reason, they wouldn't let Andre out. But the next day, I went and got a lawyer, and the lawyer, I said, look, my friend's still in there, and I need to do something about it. And so I said, I'll take care of his bill if you stand up for him. So we went in there, we got him out, blah, 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 blah. Second point of friendship. Third point of friendship, we were driving home from college one day. I'll never forget this. I had a Firebird, and it's copper. And Andre was in the front passenger seat, and we were driving back to the UF. And this truck came up out of nowhere. We were about we were between the Winn-Dixie warehouse on 10 and 301, and out of nowhere, these two big, giant monster trucks came up. And one got on the right side, one got on the emergency lane, and sandwiched just between. And I'll never forget this. I tried to slow down, they slowed down. I tried to speed up, they speed up. And I looked at Andre looked at me, and he said, brother, I love you, but this may be going down, how are we gonna have to go down? I'll never forget that statement. And I said, yep. And all of a sudden, after about 10 minutes of this and that, I was really scared. They just drove off. But I'll never forget that statement, because that's a statement where you are with your friends at the bitter end. That's my friend. That is my friend. Family. My sister talked about family a little bit. I used to call Andre, he was in my dad's house more than I was, back, especially when I moved away, Hud Washington. And we need all these folks that live at my house more than we give them the Washington last name. And so Andre would be at my house, our house, particularly my dad got ill with his illness, more than my brothers and sisters were. And I would just walk in, my dad would just be like, I don't want anybody to come over, signs, passes, posted for, COVID stuff. And Andre that was not particular to Andre.
Yes.
And Andre joined us for every occasion we ever had. I don't care if it was New Year's Eve party. I don't care if it was the birthdays, my children's birthdays. I've never been in an event where Andre was not present and accounted for. Even as ill as he was, during all his illness, Andre showed up every event. And as my sister said, he would want to kick in. Of course, I would never let him do it. But I'm not talking about, man, well, can I, friends are. You want me to kick it? You want me to kick in? Andre's money was out. So that, to me, is just, he felt obligated, as a sibling would feel obligated to a brother or sister's event. I can't thank him, my heart, the growth of my spirit can't thank him enough for that obligation and that just oneness of family. Point 2, he did love his family. Andre taught more about his children and his brothers. You were a little boy when I first met you. Actually, I first met you. Your mom and dad were in an apartment behind Alhambra. Then they were getting ready to be transferred, I think, over to D.C. or Maryland somewhere. We were in transition, and of course, Tony was always bad up and down. But I go over there, and he never ever had a bad word to say about none of his family members, particularly his mom and dad. Loved you beyond no belief. In fact, Andre was very sick, and he called me up, and I think it was a year ago, a little bit more of a year ago. He said, "Greg, I have to go see." I think it was one of his daughters graduate up in D.C. Was it you?
Yeah.
It was. And he said, I don't have much spirit left. I'm so sick. I'm going to die. And I don't have any money. But I have to see her graduate. This means the world to her. And the reason with her, on my deathbed, I'm going to see my daughter graduate. I said, okay. So I got him a room card, and I got him a hotel, and gave him some money to get up there. I want you to know that. Because your dad, he was very ill. And I'll never forget that. And that's called selflessness. If you can put yourself to somebody else's will when you're at your worst, that shows you how giving you are to the love you have for somebody. And that man loved his family. So I felt honored that he asked me to do that for him. The number 3 on that. Andre is a kind of person that can extend family through his belief in God. And he and my sister, Valerie, became... Do I need to go?
No, you got all the time, man. Keep going. You're doing great.
My mother told me before she died,
you're doing great.
Don't talk people to death. The only reason is not about my mother. I want you all to know. You probably did a good thing by having me talk now.
I'm glad this is not tomorrow.
I can go on. Oh my God. But anyway, Andre became very close with my sister. Val became a minister of the Lord, got a theology degree on her own, but her and Andre would talk. I would wake up. I'm a very light sleeper. I don't sleep at all hard, very, very rarely, maybe about 3 or 4 hours a night still. And I could hear them talking on the phone, praying, reading the scripture. Every night. My sister was ill, very ill beyond what she knew she was ill. But every night, her and Andre would be on the phone talking family, spiritual forgiveness, and how they're going to go minister and to others who don't know God. And so Andre felt that in his mind, he'd call me up sometime and say, I just want to pray for you. And I'd say, Andre, I'm praying for you. He'd call me a week before he passed. He said the same thing. I was thinking about your brother, and I wanted to pray with you and just tell you how much I love you and how much God is good for you. And I'd say, Andre, you need to save your strength to just be well. This is at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and the hospital phones want to cut off at 7 o'clock, 8 at the latest. And I'm thinking, I want you better. Don't call and talk to me about me. But that's how unselfish he was and how giving he was about family. He felt like every family member he has to know God. And so when I close my eyes at night and think about family, I think about the fact is that Andre makes sure his family knows God. And I think that's just a beautiful, beautiful testament of a human being.
Yeah.
Third and final, religion. I know you all said Andre got saved recently. Sounds like it sounds recently. But I knew Andre when Andre was an acolyte with us in base housing. All right? And we were carrying the cross and bearing torches and walking up the aisle. And he was saved then because I was saved then. I know we went the same baptism and everything. So I know that you can become lose your way with God. I get it. You'll do all of that. And you feel like you have to go re-cleanse that. I can tell you, I'm proud to say, I've never redone it again because I believe when you believe once, you believe forever. That's my personal testament to God. However, if some believe and others believe that they had a waywardness from God, by all powers in Jesus Christ and the angels above, go get yours. I believe in that.
That's right.
But I will tell you that my buddy has been saved as long as I've been saved. And I'm 60 years old, so I believe he was saved since I was in church at 6 or 7 years old, carrying that acolyte's torch. So that's one of them. The second thing is that I was going to say that Andre really, when I got to know him as a man, became devout about his religion and his belief in Christ, where he would outwardly present it as you did, a man, about knowing. The fact is, it's a knowing.
Yes.
It's in your eyes.
Yeah.
It's in your skin. It's in the tone of your reflection. It's in everything that you do. I think that he became so empowered by his religion that people say that he's kind. He was kind in the beginning because you cannot falsify kindness. Goodness, you're either born with it or you're not. That's a fact. You can cultivate it, you can mature it, you can round it up, there's little square edges in it, but believe me, if you're not a good person, you cannot falsify it. What God does for you is take that goodness and makes you accept it, makes you wear it. Makes you wear it like you wear your clothes. And Andre started to understand what that meant to wear that relationship with God, where he was no longer afraid to present strangers, where he could go out and preach, and go out and hold people. Go to the hospitals with my sister and make people that had nobody feel like they had everybody. Now, you all know maybe he did that. I know he did it. All right? And for me, I'll tell you, I'm a one kind of person. My relationship with God is my relationship with God. I'm probably not going to talk to you too much about it. And I admire those who can go out and do that with others. So, him doing that makes me kinder. Makes me not so angry when I'm driving on the highway and I see people doing things when I'm driving. Because I think about Andre smiling and laughing through a lot of things we would not be laughing through. He would touch my hand and say,
All right,
I'd
brother.
say, okay. I'm ready to get out of the car and fight. Maybe my relationship with God is not so close anymore. I'll tell you this much. Andre was a good person in that matter. He affects people. The word affect. It's the rock of Gibraltar, it's the mountains of Jericho. Affect. The wind currents in life, people's attitude in life, people's direction in life. I think when Andre was ready to go, he realized he had done all he could do, and he was ready to go. And thirdly on that, I believe, because he told me this, one reason he was ready to go is to meet others like him, namely my sister, that was absolutely broke his heart when she passed. Back to family, my family was just stunned on Christmas night when the doctors called my niece and told her that my sister had moments of breath left in her body. I watched her just fall apart. I took the phone, I talked to the doctor, I gathered my family up, and Andre was on the floor like a puddle of spilled milk. I'll never forget it. My family was together. I'm sort of solaced in my heart about the things that I believe in, and I was prepared. I'm a prepared person. And as much as Andre prayed and told me that he walked with Val through the shadows of the valley of death, life, all of it, he's been there with her. He still was a mess. Because when you lose somebody that much you love, and those of you who are going to, one day, I don't know where it's going to occur, where you experience the loss of my good friend, and you're really alone, and you're alone, and you think yourself. Now you're at the point of meeting yourself. That's when you'll come to the consequence of the love and the reflection of life that human being had on you. Well, I will tell you, I stand happy right now because I know that my friend is of the beauty of Christ. And I'm okay with that. I know he's out of his pain. I watch him go up. I watch him go down, to the lowest of down. He'd call me and say, brother, I think this is it for me. And my heart would stop. My wife would say, get in the car and go now. I said, no, honey. God has still work for Andre, and he'll be all right. You know, when you see the angels and the light of angels, that's when you know it's your time. My mother saw it. She talked to me intimately about God. I don't know about it. I don't really want to know about it right now. I have a lot to accomplish in life. if it's true, and I believe it is to be true, when that time comes upon all of us, and that is in your ocular, then you will know it's time to tell all those you love goodbye. With that, I love each and every one of you all, and goodbye.
Goodbye.
And not gonna stop people, you know, from talking. They say, hold it for 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Whatever. I just want to say that it's hard.
Yes.
Very hard.
Yeah.
That's gonna take a while. Andre weighed 3 pounds, but he was poor. And the law could have took him in, or whatever, you know, but he didn't, you know, be with us, you know, for 60 years, and we appreciate that. I mean, he and I, we used to have some differences, but I can say this, the differences were about him. About him. I used to get on to him about his health care. And he said, Dad, I'm okay. I'm okay. You know, because one night we sat down, you know, I had my son room and I said, take your blood pressure. He took it, it was 200 over 160. And he didn't even feel it, you know. And so we, you know, took it to the hospital, you know. But all the other 2 years, they had fun with Andre because I guess when little Artie was born, we thought he would be a girl. And Andre said, he used to tease him, man, you was a mistake. And when Artie would get mad, you know, and start crying. But really, we had some, that definitely had some differences. And I see one person that walked in, my cousin Kim, you know, whatever. She saved Andre's life the first time he got sick. I'm talking about when he got to the hospital. He coded right up. She went in and got him to come out. They took him to the emergency room and they coded right from there, you know, whatever. I mean, you know, because she used to go around there and used to just get on him like a mother, you know, whatever. You know, Andre was older than she was. He just didn't want to, you know, in some cases, you know, let everybody know how sick he was, you know. I mean, you know, or whatever. But he was pretty sick.
He wanted to eat steak and barbecue.
Yes, more than steak.
Yeah, I need protein.
Yeah, right. And the Washington family, you may not know it, but you took care of Andre when I was going to Japan. Definitely took care of it. And we appreciate that. I appreciate everybody because I didn't get a chance to meet Miss Washington. But I know we used to go to church together. That's right, church together, you know, whatever. But she was a wonderful, you know, individual, or whatever, you know. And, you know, I appreciate that. Ernie, Greg, that's all they used to talk about. And he has a lot of friends, you know. And I know y'all took care of him while we were in Japan. Now, he did something that, you know, that I kind of got upset about. I had bought that car for him, you know. I guess you remember that, the Mustang, you know. And man, all of a sudden I get this payment because he had pride, you know. Hey, payment behind, you know. So what I had to do, basically, we were coming back to the States anyway to see after the graduation, I guess, in the Army. And I had to go down, you know, and pay for it, and, you know, catch it up, you know, or whatever. But he never would come to me for money at all. He'd go to mom. And I asked him why. He said, because you have to go through a long story.
see you tomorrow, and if you didn't get a chance, say you got 2 minutes, you know, and I appreciate everything.
2 minutes.
That y'all come together, came out or whatever, you know. Definitely appreciate it, you know. And I just want to say to the, I guess it's gonna be 2 bands leaving here, but they offered a needed family, and some immediate family members are driving. So my granddaughter, like that, she's taking care of everything, you know, about the vans, you know, because we would like to be organized. We're gonna meet here, and he said between 9:30 and 10 o'clock, and go to the church. No escort or anything, because everybody they're driving their vans. But, you know, we appreciate everybody coming out.
Thank you.